What lie did you believe your entire childhood? My parents convinced me that I was allergic to sunlight and kept me locked inside for 16 years, and I didn't find out they were lying until I accidentally felt the sun and didn't die. My parents had always been obsessed with keeping me hidden from the world. They homeschooled me, never let me have friends over, and would panic if delivery drivers tried to talk to me. Mom would rush me away from windows when cars drove by, and Dad installed blackout curtains everywhere. They told me it was because people are dangerous and they don't understand special children like you. I thought they were just protective, and since the only other kids I knew were the ones in the books they picked out for me, I didn't know how out of the ordinary their behavior was for a long time. I didn't know they were building a prison around me. When I turned 5, my parents sat me down and explained that I had been born with a rare condition called severe solar urticaria, which meant that even a few seconds of sunlight exposure could kill me. Mom showed me these horrifying medical photos of people with blistered, burned skin and said, "This is what happens to people like you when the sun touches them, and it only gets worse until you die." Dad nodded along and added, "The doctor said you're one of the worst cases they've ever seen, so we have to keep you safe inside where the sun can never hurt you." They made me wear UV protection clothing even inside the house and installed special medical-grade window film that they claimed would protect me from deadly solar radiation. For 11 years, I lived like a vampire in my own home. I could only go outside at night wearing long sleeves, gloves, and a hat to protect me from reflected moonlight. And even then, they told me I needed to stay far away from any other people because my immune system was so weak. They ordered everything online, never let me go to stores, and told me other kids wouldn't understand why I had to live differently. When I begged to go to school or make friends, Mom would cry and say, "Do you want to die just to fit in? Do you want to leave us all alone because you couldn't follow the rules that keep you alive?" I genuinely believed I was one step away from death every day, and I felt grateful my parents loved me enough to sacrifice their social lives to keep me safe. Everything changed when I was 16, and there was a power outage that disabled our security system. I was rushing to close a window that had blown open during a storm, and for about 30 seconds, direct sunlight hit my face and arms. I stood there waiting to die, waiting for the burning and blistering my parents had described, but nothing happened. I felt warm and actually kind of good, like my body was waking up after being asleep for years. I thought I must have miraculously gotten over my disease. I couldn't wait to tell my parents I was okay now. I thought they'd be just as happy as I was that I could finally live a normal life. Instead, they dropped a huge bombshell on my life. I never had a sun allergy, and they'd been lying to me my entire life. When I tried to get away from them and leave the house, they completely lost their minds. Dad started screaming, "You have no idea what you're doing. They're going to find you now. We've kept you safe for 16 years and you've ruined everything." Mom was crying and saying, "We can't protect you anymore. They'll take you away from us and we'll never see you again." I had no idea who they were, but my parents were acting like I had just signed my own death warrant by standing in sunlight for 30 seconds. They immediately called someone and started making plans to relocate our family to somewhere safer, and they wouldn't explain what they meant or who we were running from. But the truth came out when my dad got drunk that night and started ranting about how they'd given me everything and loved me more than my real parents ever could. That's when I found out that I wasn't actually their biological child. They had taken me from a hospital when I was 3 days old because they'd lost their own baby and couldn't accept that he was gone. The sun allergy was just a story they made up to keep me hidden from the outside world where missing child posters and age progression photos might help someone recognize me. They've been keeping me prisoner in my own home for 16 years to cover up the fact that they had kidnapped me as an infant, and they genuinely believed that stealing someone else's child was better than dealing with their own grief. The FBI found us 2 days later when I managed to call the police and tell them what I'd learned. It turned out my real parents had been searching for me my entire life, and they'd never stopped believing I was alive somewhere. My kidnappers were arrested, and I got to meet my actual family for the first time since I was 3 days old. But after 16 years of isolation and lies, I don't know how to function in the real world. I'm constantly messing up social situations, and I'm way behind in school. And I still flinch when sunlight hits my skin, because part of me is still convinced it's going to kill me.